the Latina Leadership Podcast, the podcast made for Latinas by Latinas, with Angelica Cázares, Carolina Arenas, Diana Ruby, Jacqueline Villagomez, and Sonia Ramirez. Get comfortable, amiga, and enjoy the conversations.
Hola, and welcome to the Latina Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Diana Ruby, and today we're talking with Ana Arguello, who is a proud Mexican-born Latina who also serves as the Vice President of Stationery at Walmart. Ana, welcome.
Diana, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to engage with your audience.
Awesome. Thank you. And Ana, I want to kind of get us started with first telling you that I'm a huge stationery nerd. So I have to know, I need to know how you got here. Tell me your story. How did you get here?
I love it. Well, I actually joined the company 17 years ago. So it's been a very long journey, very fortunate. Walmart has been an incredible company to me. I joined because I learned about the mission statement and how much we care about people, customers, associates, and that really resonated with me. I knew that I could learn anything and be open to any challenge as long as the company that I worked for was aligned with my personal values. And that was 100% true in this company. So started doing buying in Walmart Mexico. I then moved to the US and did some global sourcing, finding some cool products around the world for Walmart US. And then I joined Walmart International. So I had the opportunity to visit a lot of different retail markets where Walmart has operations outside of the US. So that was super fun. And then came back to Bentonville and they offered me a position in stationery. And I am also a stationery nerd. So we share that, Diana. Let me tell you something. It's a big honor because I get to work not only with a great team, but I also have the big obligation, that's how I see it, to make sure that I can deliver the most outstanding value for parents and for teachers. I'm a huge advocate for teachers. They do so much for our society and our communities. So I feel that this is really an opportunity for us to stand tall and do everything we can to deliver that extra mile for these teachers who have a huge heart.
I love that. And so tell me more, because I definitely hear the passion when you started talking about teachers and education. So where did that stem from? Did you always have a love and passion for education, or was that something that you grew into? How did that come about?
I would probably say that more than a specific, area like, teachers, I would say that my big passion is to serve. Serving others, it's my sense of purpose. That's how I shine. That's how I thrive. So as long I never focus on, it's all about, the numbers. It's all about the why. It's all about the people. It's all about the impact. So when you have that in mind, then in my opinion, that's where miracles happen. When you engage the community, when you appreciate people around you, when you think about, how can you actually change lives? For me, that's when I'm in my sweet spot, Diana.
That's awesome. Another thing about yourself, and if you can kind of talk to this, you were born in Mexico City, and I was too, actually. But I came to the US when I was really young, so I don't have a lot of recollection of Mexico City other than like now going back as an adult. So tell me what it was like to grow up in La Ciudad de Mexico and how you came to Northwest Arkansas specifically.
Yes. So born in Mexico City, and I feel very privileged. I am very, very proud of my cultural heritage, and I actually embrace that today. I have two little kids. I have Isabela, Maria, and Mateo, and I speak Spanish all day long. And more than just the language piece, I think it's also that cultural piece for them
Mhm.
to understand how to be bicultural and how to be successful in navigating, all these different contexts. At the end of the day, I think it's a big competitive advantage for you to be able to understand and open and broaden your perspective, as a Latina or any other ethnicity or cultural, element. I think it makes you stronger. For me, it exposed me to a lot of like incredible values of people that are hardworking, a lot of integrity and ethics. I think my parents were also super big about, being an advocate to support others. It wasn't never about me or them. It was about like, if you have an opportunity to have a position of privilege or have a seat at the table, what are you doing to make sure that others also have the same opportunity? And that was very true as a Latina living in Mexico City. So it's more than 20 million people in the city. So it's pretty loud and crazy and colorful and music and mariachi and tequila and everything that people can think of. Traffic, lots of traffic. So there's definitely a part where it's not as romantic as it sounds. But I would say that it was definitely key for my upbringing. And then when I came to the
Mhm.
US, I started to realize all the different cultural traits that I had. So number one, I would say that when you're an immigrant, you are very comfortable with being out of your comfort zone.
Mm.
You are in a country where you need to learn a language, where you need to learn and adapt and adjust, and nobody will have patience with you. You have to get it going. So being out of your comfort zone, I think that becomes a great asset for immigrants, and we should be very proud of. Um, the other thing, I think we're very good with building relations. We're pretty social in nature, and we love to connect. And in my opinion, that's a superpower. So, for any Latinos and Latinas that are listening, I would say, Diana, never shy away. If you have that natural, soul to connect with other people, just do it, take it, leverage that as much as you can, because you can truly change a community just with having the right level of energy. The right reason on how to serve and just putting others in motion.
I love that, and, I think what you said about being bicultural, is really important, like, being biculture is like a superpower, right? Because you can ebb and flow between different people and different cultures and different languages, so, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what is the most valuable aspect of being biculture for you?
Well, in the workplace, I would say it's super relevant for many reasons. Number one, we serve millions and millions of Latin customers. So if we can represent in Walmart, the customer base that we serve, we're gonna serve them better because we understand what they need.
Mm.
So that's huge. Being able to understand the customers. The other one is we also have a huge Hispanic population within our workplace. So it's wonderful to see Latinos growing and developing and getting promoted. And just bringing that pride to the culture, that's also super important for me, and brings me that passion even bigger. And the third one, I think it's I also bring a different perspective to the table. So if I am the only Latina or the other person who was not like born in the US, I usually have a different, point of view, different question. I come from a different place. So that builds innovation, or that can open up to different conversations in the meetings, or provoking arguments that wouldn't have occurred if it wasn't for the reason of having diverse people in the room.
Absolutely. I saw that you're trilingual. You're not bilingual, you're trilingual. Do you still speak French?
Yes, so I still speak a little bit of French. When I was studying, I had a chance to do a master in Paris. So I lived in France for a while, and it was a fantastic experience. So getting exposed to a third culture in a different continent, and just again trying to adapt and trying to understand very very different ways of understanding life.
Yeah.
But at the end, Diana, I don't think that it's that languages, it's not necessarily only about words and translating words, because you can use, any translator for that. I think the ability about and the magic about learning different languages is the possibility that it opens to understand how the other person thinks.
Mm.
And that's beautiful. It's you're not only translating, you're actually understanding that
Mm.
universe that it's in front of you, which is very different to yours. So it's a humbling experience.
Wow. I love that you just said that too, because you're right. Like it goes beyond just the language, beyond just the words that you're saying. It's the actual meaning behind the words. And so, can you tell us a little bit more about how it is that you've taken all those experiences of understanding, various cultures, and how do you apply that in your everyday life and also in your work life?
I think they become part of who you are. I don't think that you are making an intentional effort to say, I'm going to bring these as a Latina or these as I think we're just learning and becoming this melting pot. And just, everything becomes part of who you are. So it just has to be super genuine. It has to be authentic. It has to be in a way that it helps you, empower yourself, but also empower other people around you.
Mm.
I think it would be super important for people to know that if you have that possibility to embrace and learn other things outside of the things that you already know from a culture perspective, it will only make you stronger. And it will also, there's one more element, Diana, stronger, but also you will have more empathy.
Mm.
Because the more you can learn about others, you can also be more effective into trying to create an environment of belonging, because you know what it's like to be different. You know what it's like to be the one who speaks with an accent. You know what it means to be the one who looks different or dresses different. So you have a natural way to find empathy to make other people around you a lot more comfortable. And again, I think that's another superpower.
Mm. I'm curious about you saying that because I think so I'm like I consider myself a like young kind of young to mid professional at this point, and I'm a first gen professional, so like nobody in my family has ever done an office job before me, and this is kind of like I'm the first person doing this, right? And so I've struggled with kind of finding that balance of I'm still true to me, right? Like I wear big earrings. I love big earrings, but you kind of get taught that like that's not professional or whatever. But so I kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
I get it. I'm usually the one who is dressed in hot pink or super bright yellow and wearing makeup, and that's who I am. I'm usually loud. I am
Mhm.
pretty passionate, in the way how I speak and how I communicate in general. And that is not usually what you're used to see in corporate America. To
Mhm.
your point, there's usually like a more a cookie cutter approach on how you need to behave, how you need to communicate your message, how you need to just, your general, facial expressions or whatever. It needs to be
Mm.
in a box, right? I would just say be you.
Mm.
Be you, because you are who you are, and that is the one thing that it's not negotiable.
Mm.
You can negotiate anything else, but you can't negotiate you. So if you bring to the workplace, a different version of yourself, um, you're gonna feel like an imposter,
Mhm.
and you're not gonna shine, because you're gonna show up without your soul, without your heart. So you need to be proud, and you need to wear
Mm.
those earrings.
I love that. So tell me more about like, did you envision your life the way it is now when you were just getting started with your career? Like, did you imagine this is where you would be, and this is like location wise, and also just like generally, like, did you envision this, or did it kind of develop as you went?
Yes and no. So I would say that not, of course, not the specifics of location,
Yeah.
but I would say that a lot of things that came true in my vision. I wanted to have a family. So I'm super grateful that I have a great husband and my two kids. I get to fly to Mexico pretty often so I can see my family in Mexico City.
Mm.
I have a job that I love, a team that I love, a company that I respect. I learn every single day. I make mistakes every single day. I have the opportunity to be myself. And I consider that a blessing because I don't know that everyone has that privilege.
Mm.
So I think a lot of those elements of my vision came true, supporting others, mentoring others. I think that the most important things that give me a sense of inspiration and gratefulness. All of them are right there, Diana. I consider myself very blessed, and I would love to keep working to support others along the way.
Mm. And I see that you also like you do things outside of your work to continue supporting others. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that and just kind of how what that experience has been like for you?
Sure. So one, I am a part of the board of E for All. So I absolutely love the work that they are doing to support young entrepreneurs in Northwest Arkansas. There's so many people that are so talented that have so many amazing business ideas, and they might just need, the support of a mentor, the right connections, the right access to different platforms in the area for them to thrive. So the impact that they are making in the community is absolutely outstanding. I also have the opportunity to serve in the board of Serve to Perform Latinx NA. They do so much in the community, more around the lines of mentoring. So they are connecting a lot of business professionals in all different industries. So this is not only retail, but this is also in technology sectors or the medical space, just everywhere in Northwest Arkansas, and just making sure that they can create this sense of belonging, creating a sense of a community, and making sure that we can all be mentors and resources for each other. So I think, Diana, overall, I think we have an incredible community. We have so many people that are willing to do more. And mentor and just help connecting the dots for our community to be more successful.
Mm. What would you say to someone who, like, again, just kind of going back to like a younger Latina who knows that eventually they want to start mentoring and giving back and all these plentiful ways? Like, what would you say to them to kind of get to that point?
I would say find your passion, because I think as you're serving and supporting others, it has to come, you need to show up in a position of strength,
Mm.
of an area where you feel that you have a level of proficiency, but also an area that you enjoy. So if it's more community building, if it's more education and mentoring, so find your field, because there's so many different ways to support. It can be young students, it could be you know uh, professionals in a more seniority positions or executive roles. So find that niche where you think you can provide more value, and try to engage with organizations around the area. They are incredibly generous, and they're always looking for amazing volunteers. But the one thing that I would say is be super curious, and don't sit on it. Like, if you feel that you have a spark inside of you and you have a calling and you're like, I think I can do more and I can support, just do a little bit of research, connect with people, get in LinkedIn and try to understand who is doing the type of work that you would like to be involved with, and things will start happening for you. So just go get it done.
I like that you added the how because that was going to be my follow-up question. Like, how does someone find their passion? Yeah, cool. And another question that I have for you is, do you consider yourself a leader and why or why not?
I would say I would consider myself a leader, because I feel that my role is to make sure that I can make others better. So it's really not about me. It's how can I provide that platform and how I can expose other people in a way that they can give the best version of themselves. So I see myself as an enabler. I think my role is only to remove roadblocks, and to give people the right tools so that they can bring their full potential.
Mm, that was beautiful. And is there anything that maybe I have missed that you want to make sure we share or that you share with our listeners today?
I would say everyone is a leader. Don't be confused thinking that you have to have a title, or you need to be part of X company to have that prestige. Everyone is a leader, and everyone is watching you in one way or another. So make sure that you're representing and role modeling those right behaviors, and especially if you're a Latina, other Latinos are watching you as well. So you can serve as an inspiration to a lot of people. So always be cognizant of that, because you are displaying a lot of things that might be important for others to learn or to see or appreciate. So be cognizant of that. And then the other one, I would say, Diana, as a Latina, I think sometimes we have that upbringing of, you know, be humble. If you have learned things in life, or if you're good at something, you don't have to brag. Someone will notice. Keep doing your work, and someday someone will reach out and promote you. I would say it's okay to brag sometimes. It's okay to be proud of what you bring to the table, and say that, and tell your story, and be proud of your story. So it's okay to self promote. Of course, it has to be in the right context, and in the right balance. But I think that in general, Latin cultures, we over index in that not saying anything.
Mhm.
And I don't think that that benefits our community at all, because I think from some different cultures, that can be perceived as disengagement.
Mm. Yeah.
So just a watch out. Latinas, wear your earrings, be yourself, brag a little bit. It's totally fine.
I love that. And that's definitely a reminder that I think we need to consistently share with one another. So thank you. Ana, tell us, where can we find you? How can we connect with you?
Absolutely. I'm open in LinkedIn, so you can find me for sure, and then happy to connect. Send me a message, and happy to have coffees or do a quick mentoring, coffee. Happy to continue to build relations with you and your audience, Diana.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom and just pouring into our cups today. This was really beautiful, and I appreciate you joining us today. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the time. This was super fun.
Uh,
Gracias para todos.
What did you think of the conversation? If you enjoyed what you heard, let us know in the comments. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you for listening to the Latina Leadership Podcast, and we will see you next time.